Hello, good morning, garden lovers. I got sidetracked with these little cute mushrooms on the lawn. They're so cute. But anyway, sorry about my fence. I got out at the crack of dawn this morning. I guess I'm feeling the rush. I am going out of town for the rest of the week. And so I came out here and started the sprinkler because even though we had rain 2 days ago, we had a storm actually, but it actually was, the rain was just like a flash rain. So now the plants are, or the ground is dry again. And see what happened when you have the storm. So this is actually my one of the native monarda. I didn't know it will get this tall when you plant it in a sunny spot. So it's falling down, so I guess I have to cut them back. I don't think I have time today to stake them. But anyway, the Gallarda came back from last year, nice, big and strong, and is blooming wonderfully. And actually, I'm sad that I'm gonna miss it all week. And also I bought a climbing black-eyed Susan, and it's actually climbing, I don't know if you see it, on the cattle panel. So when I get back also, I'm gonna plant some cucumbers and other climbing veggies in the cattle panel in this tea garden. Sorry. And so also in the tea garden, this demona is reflushing, and I am just impressed with this girl. I was rereading her description, and it actually said disease resistant. So I guess I made a good choice on that one. I mean, I'm just impressed. I really am, for a David Austin in the South, and to reflush for the second time in a month. And also I look at the petals. So I kind of underplanted a thyme, and the thyme is blooming as well. It's kind of like a little purple flower with the rose petals. It's so romantic. So anyway, so that's but I'm also sad before I leave the tea garden, but not about this erigeron. I'm so happy about this erigeron because it's so hard to find. So I have to, find an online plant store or online plant nursery or whatever. And I finally have erigeron. I don't know if eventually the flowers will get bigger, because in England, as I watched the Chelsea flower show, the erigerons have bigger than this flowers. So, but it did get big. It was one of those, like, you know how mail order plants come in. So very small. Last year I planted this, and it's gotten really big. So it's probably about a foot wide now. So happy for that. I need some more to put in pots so they can like trail over. But the most thing that I'm excited about is this Prairie Sun Black-Eyed Susan. It is so pretty. I planted it the same thing last year, and look how big it's got. But something was digging up. Look at all the mulch. And that's why I was kind of mad when I got up this morning. There's some casualties. It's not the horses, because there was a it wouldn't have, the horses would have just pulled it out. This plant, this is actually a native Black-Eyed Susan, I think a taller variety, and it's just all, I mean, look at this hole. So some of the, oh man, there's another Gallarda. See how it's not as big as the yellow one? I'm sorry, I need to get all the tags and tag them, because there were, I think, 3 varieties of the Gallarda that I got on sale from Lowe's last year. But so yeah, the ground, I don't know if it was one of my dogs, but they never did that before, so I don't know what the deal is. But anyway, so yeah, that is the tea garden. And I'm actually hoping to bring some more tea plants from my trip. And also they need water. The nasturtium, I planted a variegated leaf variety, so it's kind of pretty. They're gonna bush out eventually soon. So it also has, it's so pretty. The flower is not like the traditional nasturtium form, and it's also bicolor. So I have one in the pot and it's yellow, so I just put a seed packet in there, -2 I think, that I stuck in a pot, and it actually germinated and flowered. So, but when I came out this morning, this really is the reason why made me decide to do a video, even though, you know, I'm also overdue. But this daylily, which is very tall, probably about maybe 3 feet tall, with that deep kind of burgundy throat. It's blooming with the echinacea that is also gotten tall. I mean, they're always tall. I just couldn't remember how tall they get. But it was such a, I don't know, morning greeting, and it, you know, I thought it was worthy of, you know, doing a video. And the Gora are still going, and so everything in the butterfly garden is just so wonderful. I deadheaded the Shasta daisies, as you can see. So they're gonna keep blooming, but there's fewer blooms because they were just done and deadheaded. But the pink candles, it's not a, say, salvia. Veronica is also still blooming, and I don't even see any reason for me to deadhead. It's just loving it there. And but most of all, my watering can. But these gay feathers or liatris are finally blooming. This one is still about to open, but this one, it is so gorgeous and tall. So it's probably almost 4 feet, especially this guy, almost 4 feet tall. It is, I mean, I planted one before and it didn't make it, but of course, you know, I didn't take care of it because of work. And so it kind of discouraged me. And then I saw a, you know, a garden on YouTube, and I thought I'll give it a try again. And for $5.95, I think, a whole packet of these guys, I mean, it's so worth it. It's so beautiful, and the pollinators will be having a ball with them, I bet you. So there's 4 in there. This one is a little shorter. And then the this is the golden Alexanders. You know, for a butterfly garden, you have to have some golden Alexanders, and they're re-blooming again as well. So they bloom pretty early, and then you just deadhead, and you get another flush, I think, throughout the season. And then the Erigeron is still going strong. She's kind of like the oddball in the butterfly garden. A good kind of odd. And along with this, I guess when I get back, I'll have to deadhead the butterfly bush, pugster. And then of course the rose, Sweet Francis is reflushing as well. I am so proud of this rose. It's so, you know, if you want to plant a rose, this has to be it. It's so, the stock, I think, according to Heirloom Rose, is one of those, you know, good growing, vigorous growing, disease resistant stock, which I can't remember. So yeah, if you want a rose, and so she is happy in that obelisk, happily climbing there. But anyway, the poppy, the dark flowered poppy, is finally over. So I got one bloom for a whole packet of bread seed poppies. And then I think this is my arugula, and it bloomed, and I'm gonna leave it blooming, and it's kind of fallen. It's fallen into the grass, and it's actually like aesthetic, aesthetically pleasing. It looks like the grass is blooming, which is a pretty by itself without the blooms because of the variegation. So, but I think he don't mind. And also my morning glory or moonflower is finally climbing on the stump. I was gonna put my gnome there, just like Highgrove Garden in England, which is King Charles Garden. He has a stump which is bigger than mine, diameter wise, and he had a gnome in there, and I have a gnome, but I couldn't bear to take it away from where it's at. So maybe I can find a vintage old gnome. That's what I'm telling the universe, what I want in the next estate sale. What do you think? So, you know, so here I am, I'm watering this space right here, and this butterfly bush with yellow leaves. I don't know, I think it's gonna get taller than expected, so I'm not mad about it. And another guy that's also going nuts is this ajuga ground cover, and it's now eating my path. I mean, I didn't know ajuga will get crazy when you plant it in a sunny area. And this is the Nana, finally got some size to her, the Nana Nepeta. So Nana, I guess, is like a shorter variety, but it's still, I think it will still get bigger with Weiss. So yeah, so that's the butterfly garden. And there's a tick seed in there, the beautiful color in the middle of all this green and soft colors. And then of course the nigella seeds. It's so pretty. I think I'm gonna cut some and put in my estate sale find tulipier. If you know me on Instagram, which is the same handle, at Iron Hill Cottage, I made an arrangement early this morning because one of the calla lilies, I guess I had a tall variety and it just flopped. And like I said, I don't have time to kind of mess around with staking this morning, so I just brought him inside and made an arrangement for the by the doorway. And this is the other side, the other circle, the other end of the butterfly garden. So these guys, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, this is the obedient plant, which is I think botanical name is Physostegia, and they're fall blooming, and they also kind of is thuggish. So if you have like a very rich fertile soil, don't plant it there. This circle right here is not amended. I have some chives growing in here, and it will also bloom late summer, somewhere down here. And it's kind of like an allium pretty bloom. And then of course this dark, which I don't know the variety, it's very old variety. Sedum is also gonna get big and bloom. And of course I'm happy about this bush or shrub, perennial Caryopteris or bluebeard. And it's, you know, my bumble's favorite. They just love eating here, taking a rest here with the bluebeard. And then of course the iceberg that is kind of sorry looking right now because I defoliated them because of black spots. So I was gonna dig it up or shovel a prune, if you know what I mean, but I feel bad, so I think I'm just gonna give it a chance and leave it there. And also I had underplanted from spring some straw flowers, and I've planted them before and they never do well for me, so they were also shovel pruned or pulled out in that case. And but the hyssop or agastache, the blue boa is the variety. It's also very beautiful by the grass. And also the blue container from an estate sale. It's getting so gorgeous. Paul's gold is finally growing, as well as the dichondra silver falls that's falling on the sides. But also this this guy that I was also gonna, it was actually just one little stem that I planted last year after I dug up a huge clump of it, because it's so tall, it just flops everywhere, just like, see down there. That's why it has a tomato cage. But anyway, so let's go to the other side. So the right side of the arbor is, I don't know what happened to me this year, this spring, but everything is yellow. The containers, the dahlia is doing so well. This is the mystic variety dahlia with the dark leaves, and this flower, and the other one, unfortunately, I deadheaded, so it's kind of pink and yellow, which, you know, it went with this guy. So I think it's the reverse from that one. It was no, because that's orange. It was kind of pink and something yellow, I can't remember. And this one is what I really love. It's called Moonstruck, and it's just a, you know, not like a fancy, from a fancy grower. It is, I just fell in love with that, and I think it was the muse, my muse this spring, and the reason why I got honey, the proven winners, Supertunia. Oh, here's the other nasturtium I was talking about. See how it's kind of orangey yellow? Well, so the honey, Supertunia, I think the reason why I bought that is because of the Moonstruck over there. So, and it's also over there, and it reads, even though it has orange, the honey has orange, but it reads very yellow. So the morning sun is kind of shining on that one container. I don't know if you can see the light. Yeah, I should come out every morning early just because of the light. But anyway, before we go under the arbor, let me go on this path and show you what other things are going on in this heart-shaped garden. So in this side of the heart-shaped garden, this not monarda, this is the native, it's called Georgia asters. It has gotten, or it's taken over there. And like I said, when I have a thuggish kind of plant, I don't amend the soil, I don't fertilize, and I just leave them be. I kind of chopped some of them to kind of keep them from being really tall and flop. They will still get bigger after you chop, but they will just get bushier. But I didn't chop all of them because I thought it will give me some bloom before fall, but we'll see. And then the echinacea here, this used to be only echinacea and a lantana, a perennial lantana, but I don't know, like I said, I never amended the soil, I don't still, but the lantana is that big clump right there. And I see that that's what happened when you're impatient. So I cut down the lantana from, you know, when it first, well, in the spring. I just cut it down to the stump, and then it left a big empty space in there. So I had an extra dahlia. I thought, well, I'll just put the dahlia there. But you know, I knew that was gonna happen, but at that moment I was just, it just didn't look so good. And I didn't have the patience to wait for the lantana. So that's that, patience. And then also this clover, I always leave some clover for early food for the bumbles. And you know, it used to be a lot in here, and I just thin it out and leave some. And it's a nice contrast with the variegated liriope, which is grass-like, which I also inherited from the previous owner. So yeah, and then I just have a red begonia in there, which needs deadheading. And so all this green, so I leave them. It's actually a mugwort. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of varieties of mugwort, but this is, it become probably around 3 feet tall. And so when they get sun, they turn that variegated color. I don't know if you can see, so the green, and then when they're in the sun, it's more yellow, and then as they go towards the shady area, see how this is more green. There's still variegation, but it's more green. But I leave them there until they turn all green, and it would also, so it would change this picture actually. So the when I pull them out, they would still come back next year because it grows by runners, the roots. And so when I pull them out, the coneflowers will take over. Right now, which I'll go to the other side, the New England aster is blooming, which is a fall blooming. An aster is fall blooming, but a lot of people that cut them in the fall, the same situation with the native aster, as I tell you, you know, to make it a little more sturdy stems, to make their stems more sturdy, you cut them back about halfway in the spring, and that kind of make them bushier instead of lanky, and so less chance of falling. But I do that after, when I deadhead after the first bloom in the spring. I don't know if people know that they bloom because they just cut them, you know, early spring. But yeah, so I get to enjoy twice the aster, one in the spring and one in the fall. And then this Lysimachia, it was, you know, the people were doing a late spring sale, so they were like $2, so I just stuck them in there with the corkscrew, which it will get bigger, especially after I fertilized them last night. And then so on this side it's just more green. There's, like I said, the obedient plants, and then there's lamb's ears, and then this is also a fall blooming plant, which is the, oh my god, I'll tell you in a minute. But I just have a brain fart right now. Anemone, sorry. So look how big this anemone got. I'm so proud. And then also I have an astrantia. I've wanted astrantia for so long. I could never find them locally. So I got one from, I think, Bluestone Perennials, another online nursery. And yeah, so I just planted it this spring. So next year that should get bigger and should be beautiful. They have star-like flowers, and that's a pink variety. There's other varieties that there's a darker, moodier flowers that I'm gonna get. I'm actually going to Bluestone Perennials this weekend. Can you believe that? I am so stoked. I cannot wait to be there. I placed an order, and so I'm picking it up, and then take advantage of their sale as well in their nursery. So yeah, so if you're interested, if you're close to Ohio, they're in Madison, Ohio by Lake Erie. I've never been, so that's two birds in one stone for me. So that's gonna be my birthday present. I hate to say birthday, but and also my summer vacation. I don't really like going to the beach, so and so here's the up close and personal with the New England aster. So pretty, soft purple with the yellow eyes, and then of course the ever beautiful airy Gora that you don't know it's there really. It looks like it's just floating in the air like out of nowhere. But yeah, so the actual plant is there, but it looks like it's just blooming with the asters like little butterflies. See how they sway in the wind. And then also in here that's actually getting a little bit bigger. Like I said, no fertilizer. That's supposed to be a short variety anyway of St. John's wort. I don't have the name. Maybe I will, if I have time, I'll put it in the description. So yeah, so this is the end of the heart-shaped garden, and it'll take you here by this flower, which I put a big root of wisteria root in here. So I shall throw that away, but I'll put it in there for a minute. So this royal candles, it's in the shade area, so it didn't get tall like the other one. And this is also another, I think this is a native in the US at least, St. John's wort. So St. John's wort has, let me take you back. Well, that's not even like that. The regular one, it has smaller roundish leaves, and it's also like the bluebeard, it turns into like a bush. But this one has this kind of leaf, and so it's on its second year. I planted it last year, and it's finally bushing out. So, you know, kind of contrasts with the different shaped leaves in here. And here's another liatris or gay feather that I stuck in the ground here from that same bag. And it looks like, look at it close. Yeah, this guy is just weird. It has a shorter, and see this one is shorter too. I think maybe in the bag there were different varieties, because, whoa, wait a minute. See, it's hoping I wouldn't notice, and it's growing in the peony, this wisteria, which, oh my goodness. And there's also, oh, I thought it was a zinnia. Yeah. Another battle for the wisteria. And I don't think they're ever gonna die. See? Oh, sorry about my nose allergies. So yeah, that is what's going on there. So of course my path, which I don't mind sharing it with my plants, especially the lamb's ear. They just kind of pop up everywhere, like there. And so that's the other side of the container. And this echinacea also, and this one, they just self-seed. They're in the path, so I don't mind. I just leave them there, and I just step over. And this another tick seed variety, which is just yellow. It's about to rebloom, bunch of blooms, and it's just so pretty. The nasturtium, and then this ivy. I think maybe next year I will move them to the blue container because they're taller and they can. You'll never gonna want them growing on the ground, especially here in the south, because you'll never eradicate it, just like the wisteria. Oh, and then I have a native. It's called quinine or quinine, Quinine. So there's the medicinal properties for that, and it blooms like that with this. It looks like the leaves. It looks like the cup flower, which it's on the other side. And I also always mention it in my videos. So if you watch my other videos, I talk about it a lot. And then my cedar is coming along, and I hope it would stay that way until it gets established. And then here's another Gora, which is the pink variety. It's finally getting taller. Last year it was short, like these guys are short. So it's finally making this long, airy stems. And then of course, the only thing that's really blooming in the middle are the Verbena bonariensis, which they're all in the middle in there, because the limelight hydrangea is not quite there yet. It blooms should be, they have some buds, so anytime soon. So until that bloom, the bluebeard is kind of carrying the job. But anyway, the moonlight in Paris is also reblooming, and the ground cover, which is also thyme, is not blooming yet. And there's also another one, which is, it's getting taller, the one in the back, because it's shaded by the bushes in there. But I was really surprised. Last night I saw this blooming, and it got tall, because I thought I was complaining last year. They were just very short, like, I don't know, 4 inches from the ground. And I'm like, well, I want a tall balloon flower. But I guess they heard me. They always like when you talk sweet nothings to them. So I told them to grow tall. And there it is. But see how they start? They're like little puff things. And then they open like this. Very cute. And also, I was glad to see this Stokes aster or Stokesia with this dark blooms, and then it turns this way after it ages. So it's a really nice contrast. So those are the short things in the front, and this is the pincushion flowers, the short variety. Remember, if you've been following me, I go on and on about the taller variety, which is called Fema, or F-A-M-A, pincushion flower. And then, of course, the mango popsicle guy is almost done blooming. But at least, it falls off, like from the bottom, and then it leaves you the top for a minute. Okay, so let's go under the arbor and see what's blooming on the other side. Of course, on the left-hand side, I just put that chair there. I think when I get back, I'm finally gonna put the remaining concrete path in there to make it wider, to fit the arbor. But anyway, I was drinking coffee under the arbor. I thought, oh, I have a chair over there, so I just moved it there. So I was drinking coffee with the daylilies. The daylilies, they really amazed me this year. I guess because of all the spring rain that we've gotten. Another pink Gora. So it has short and tall stems. And then this is just blooming here and there. This Homestead Verbena. And then, of course, I could never remember. I'm not even going to try today. Quintessential English flower. So I kind of staked it with this wiring. I don't know what that is, but I think there's some more coming right there on another stem. So I'm just going to stay on the left-hand side. This Keto Orange, Agastaki or Agastache, it is gorgeous. And it's growing with the oat grass. And then accompanied by this, it looks like flowers, doesn't it? It's a variegated thyme. Here comes my neighbor's dog. Leo! I haven't seen him in a while. Leo! Hey, boy! I miss you. He's coming to see me. And then also the dark purple daylily that I planted either last year or 2 years ago. It's finally blooming, and it's gonna get more bigger through the years, because I had 2 and I kind of made them into 5 plants, so they were very small. So as you can see, those daylilies gonna fill in That's why I don't overplant like I did with the zinnia a while ago. But there's also this, I think they're Japanese irises. They're just these tiny irises, and they kind of pop up here and there, and so they bloom early in the spring. So they're there, and then and then like I said, the daylily is gonna take over pretty soon. Also, my rosemary is getting shaded. That's why it's growing lankier. So, but anyway, don't mind. I could, last year I put some annuals in and around, but this year I don't know what happened. So another daylily, and in that container right there are soapworts. So I keep saying they should hang down and cover the ugly plastic, whatever tub that was used for. I think one of the toy tubs for my boys when they were younger. And then I have this variety of milkweed. See the darker leaf? And then this other one is a different variety. And then this bigger one is the regular orange variety. And yeah, it's the little one is beating this guy to it, flower wise. Maybe it's not gonna flower. I don't know what's wrong with that. And then there's the wildflower, and the rest of these guys in here are monardas, which they bloom in the fall. And then here's my lilac that I have to find a spot for, because I want to plant it close to the porch where I can enjoy it. So that's for when I come back. And then of course the rose campion, they're everywhere. They're kind of filling in the gaps. And then of course all those wildflowers taking over where the azaleas are in the shade garden. And so let's turn around on this right hand side of the arbor. So here's a native black-eyed Susan with the Verbena bonaerensis, and then of course the kind of different echinacea, which is the yellow echinacea with this kind of leaves. So strappy leaves, a nice contrast with the limelight leaves. And then of course this big clump of lamb's ear. And then I planted those early in the spring, a short variety of zinnias. Hopefully next year they will reseed everywhere. I think there's a few reseeds from last year, but I kind of mulched this late last year, so I think most of the seeds didn't germinate. And there's the taller royal candles. It's finally blooming, so beautiful. I keep saying I need to buy another one to put somewhere over there where the abelia is, which is the yellow leaf abelia. And then so that's all that's blooming here. There's the bluebeard kind of decide to peek out from this side as well. And then of course this has been blooming on and off. This is the white ones, Veronica. So there's short variety. And this is the Fema pincushion down blooming. See how it's much taller than the ones in the front. Some more white ones in there. And that didn't bloom much, but there's still some more blooms. And then this limelight is probably not happy there. I'm probably gonna fertilize it again. Like I said, I don't like to fertilize, but with some exemption, like the roses and the container plants. So this one is supposed to be a native erigeron. I just planted this, so I can't wait to see what it would look like. And then of course this blue fescue is kind of contrasting with the what is that called, silver something. And this, the lomandra is supposed to get bigger, but it's not doing anything. Maybe next year. This is a new bed with the mulch mostly. There's just a few inches of soil that I put in their holes. So next year, I can't wait for that. I'm still looking for the grasses to go in there. I can't tell you the name of the variety, but I know what they are when I see them. So this is a this is supposed to be like a fancy what is that called? Arrowhead? No, it's not arrowhead. But anyway, so it's finally, one of the leaves is finally doing it. And I also have one in here that I left in the winter and it didn't come up. So that's why I only bought one, thinking that the other one would come up, but I was wrong. But anyway, it didn't like in the shade last year, and it doesn't look like it's liking in the sun either. So I don't know, maybe I don't need to plant that. So that is that. And I think also I'm gonna plant the ligustrum in the entrance garden because they just need more sun. And I think I'm gonna get sort of like a rounded evergreen in there. I like them because they're yellow and they kind of light up in the shade, but they need more sun. So yeah, that's it. And then of course, here's the hostas. No new news in there, but at least the timeless nights heucheras are looking better than the ones in this side, which this side is looking good. I've been going on plant rescues and I've been bringing home ferns, and we're going again I think on the 19th, and I'm gonna get more ferns and just gonna fill this bed with ferns. In fact, I just got that from last week, which is the sensitive fern. So one of the rescues, and then that is Christmas fern, and so is this one with the another plant hitchhiking in there. But yeah, so Empress Wu is done blooming. Going over. Leo! Come here, Leo. I haven't seen you. And then this begonia. One of the dogs broke one of the flowers the other day. And then there's another rescue, Lady Fern. Lady Fern I love because they have or dark purple stems. And they look like a nice lady. And then there's a Christmas fern behind a cairn in there. And then this, I just deadheaded the snapdragons. Oops, sorry. It's about to bloom again with this coleus. And it's kind of being contrasted with the ajuga. So, and this another And this mossy rock I also got from when we did a plant rescue with the Native Plant Society of North Georgia. So yeah, so that's everything really. One day I'll show you the entrance garden. It's being built right now. So I'm gonna make it into a Monarch Way Station, W-A-Y Way Station, because I can't have a monarch sanctuary, I don't think. But I added some foxgloves, white foxgloves in here, one of the sale plants from Lowe's. This one has just gone over, and I'm hoping it will reseed all around here, since my hosta, which is like in the yellow coloring or shades, didn't come up. So I'm looking also for other plants like the Solomon seal with variegation, but the Solomon seal should colonize. There's one over there by the azalea as well. I just need something to break up all this green, and there's only, I don't know, a handful of plants that can do that. Unfortunately, the foxgloves, once it's done blooming, it's done blooming. But I'm talking about white variegation or yellow leaves or anything shady plant. It's kind of not very many of those. So yeah, so for the meantime, this winter garden is just gonna be green. But the lady, unfortunately, those native daylilies are not fully opened yet, but they look so pretty behind the lady. And once the Solomon seal and that fern on the side kind of get taller, it will kind of camouflage the stand where the lady's standing, and then it would just look like she's in the middle of a beautiful meadow. Not meadow, but in the middle of the plants. So yeah, so like I said, that's everything for now. And so hopefully I can get the back garden ready. I've been, there's calla lilies. They're the yellow varieties are blooming in there as well right now. I planted some ferns, and there's some hostas, but the phlox should be blooming. Phlox should be blooming, and then I'll show you the back garden sometime. But until then, dear garden lovers, I'll see you again somewhere down the garden path. Bye.